The behavioral success factor uses a future focus. When you start working on a change, it's of course important to regularly discuss progress in team meetings and one-on-one conversations, and especially to look at how things are going. But what you often see is that people tend to look back a lot. And that's not very wise when it comes to managing a change. Because especially in the beginning, a change never goes perfectly right away or delivers the desired result. So at first, it feels a bit uncomfortable. It takes longer than your old behavior, and if you then evaluate in a traditional way, people will mostly start explaining and describing why they find it difficult and why they haven't reached the goal yet. And as a coach, it's important that even when you evaluate, you always do it in a future-oriented way. Here are a few examples. Suppose you have a meeting, and at the end of the meeting you would normally ask, "So, what did you think of this meeting?" And, what did you think went well and what didn't? But a leader who is managing the change asks different questions. They ask, what went well and should we keep doing? And what should be different next time? Or, for example, you might ask your team, how's the change going for you? Express it as a grade. As a leader, be prepared to hear a low score regularly. A 5, a 6, or maybe a 7. And if it's a low score, the other person is naturally inclined to explain why it's a low score, which actually makes it harder for them to try again next time. And you as a leader can change that every time and have a positive influence by asking, what grade would you give yourself? And suppose it's a 5, what are you going to do differently next week so that it becomes a 6? And how can I help you? But always, your questions and your interventions are focused on what needs to happen, instead of explaining what has already happened. And in this way, you keep things moving continuously and there are no mental barriers or obstacles. So that's why, in your approach to change, focus mainly on the future, and you'll notice that this keeps your team members moving forward.